And after a nice lunch, I guess we'll pick up where we left off. While I was looking around, kicking on my computer, I've found the old, very original seed-saving gold panning technique. So instead of adding it into this video, I'm going to go ahead and just re-upload it, and that's another one. Feel free to download and keep it and store it on your computer for future use, because I've actually got two of my seed-saving videos that were done about 4 years ago. So I'll post both of them, and you know, you're going to hear some overlap, I'm sure, but you're going to actually see me do the seed saving. Now we're in the middle of, you know, spring, and there's not a lot of saving that we're doing now, but I'm trying to get the information to you, because you never know how long YouTube or channels last. Speaking of which, woohoo! My channel got taken down. I know that sounds weird to say that.
The old one.
But the old one got taken down finally after everybody flagging it like crazy. Finally got taken down. So if it's not in my hands, then it doesn't need to be up there. Which also means there's a whole lot of other videos I'm going to start reposting. I'm just going to put them back up because now it goes back on my channel. So let's keep going, taking a walk here. And let's see, pear trees, you can start, let me jump back and forth. Okay,
yeah,
stay right
okay.
Here. Let's stay right here, and let's go over here to see if I can see it. There are a couple of herbs in here we're going to talk about, but I wanted to show you. There it is, right there. That is the beginning starts, and even right there's a little thing poking out right there and right there. That is our sweet potatoes. All right, so that's the first of them. There's some more that are back up and in through there, but that's the first of it. And they'll crawl around here, and having cultivated and everything, they'll be able to. That's soft enough I can push my finger in because I turned the dirt over. The rest of the dirt around here has not been turned over, and so like right here, I can't push in. As hard as I push, it's not that soft. But over here, having tilled this, when this thing sends its vines out, it'll be able to put roots down everywhere and then make new tubers, and then we'll have tons and tons of sweet potatoes. Blueberries. If you get fruit on your blueberries, the berries themselves will you could plant the seed. It takes a little while, but you can get it. Over here we got chamomile. There were five different herbs over here. So we started these from seed. So this is the German chamomile, and there's a bunch of it over here. And the nice thing about it is these plants will stay around. They're not like they'll necessarily die off from year to year, depending upon how hard the weather is. But the amount of seed that's going to continually drop every year, because I'm not going to get all the flowers pulled, like I said on that one. And what will happen is these are self recycling patches. Like the dill over here. Come on over here. I believe this is mammoth head dill, and you can see a whole lot. It's way thick and heavy in here. Very thick and heavy. But, what are you girls following us over here for? I swear. Go on, girls. And so when you know, you're gonna harvest two things off the dill. You're gonna harvest the weed or the leaves, dill weed, and you're gonna harvest the seed. And then some of that seed's gonna fall down. Mm-hmm. And if you've got it mulched, you know, we get some mulch in here from the leaves from the sweet potato plants and all of that, and the leaves fall. That'll protect it, and next year it'll come back on its own. You almost don't need to replant it. But you will save some seed. You'll take some of those big seed heads and take them off, and save them, because you never know. You might decide, okay, well, next year I want to do it somewhere else. But when I'm going around planting some of my herbs, I'm planting some of them in what will be their permanent home. That they're going to stay there, and they're going to come back and come back and come back year after year after year. Because
well, yeah, and we use the dill seed in our pickling, so. I'm being buzzed.
Yeah, I think that little piece we put in there, I think that's our nettles, as in stinging nettles. Nettles. There's several kinds of nettles. Nettles grow wild around here, and the horse manure and cow manure that I got from one of my local farmers had some nettle seed in it, and it popped up. And you never know what you might need that herb for, because it is medicinal. And let's come over here. All right, let's see here. These are the Chioggia beets, which means they've got the stripes in them. These have done the best, and you can see them really, really bolting up here. You notice how the stems are also striped, just like the beet itself is. Look how striped the stems are. So you know that's the Chioggias. They're not purple like the other ones over there. Shadow, I'm going to get you. One of these. I'm going to get you. She says, okay.
She's like, okay.
Okay. This, I tell you what,
What?
You talk about that. Tell me your story on this one.
This is the tree I planted from seed. We go back and forth, because I know I did Honeycrisp seeds and had trees of those, and Erin's thinking we left that one of those up, and she's thinking this is Granny Smith, you're thinking?
Yeah, I think it's Granny Smith, because it's the oldest, biggest one that we had.
But yeah, I was selling actually Honeycrisp seed starts
at the market.
At market up in Montana, and everybody kept telling me I couldn't do it. And I had trees started.
And so, this is going on since 2012, because we were living in Frenchtown when we did the first ones, because this is the oldest one. I saved the biggest, oldest one.
Yeah, and I did some when we were in 2013, and they're probably about maybe half this size now.
They probably are, but this is great.
We need to.
No, we need to let it grow.
No, we need to pull out the.
Oh, we need to
stem again.
Spread it out. So, and you want to train them again. The whole bonsai concept. You know, the whole property here is like a bonsai, and you're going to trim and pick and trim and pick, and this is the same with the trees. You're going to prune them.
I probably shouldn't have pulled that. I think this is the wild purple vetch.
Yeah, this is the vetch, purple vetch. See? It's a wild pea, and you went and pulling it.
We've got some more somewhere. I think you put in.
And that's a good for the animals. That's a good thing to have out in your field and stuff for wildlife and goats and whatnot.
We got lettuce.
Yep. So we got a lot of
and potatoes in our onions.
Yeah, potatoes. This was our potato patch last summer. It didn't do too good. We tried to dig them up.
Oh wait.
We could not find. Now she's around my head. We could not find all the potatoes. I tilled it, and we started to move all the onions that were on the ground over there,
and put them here.
Over here, because, like I said, these are the walking onions. Here, you take the camera back. These are the walking onions, and they're gonna have the little onions in them that are the clusters. So whenever we'll find a batch of them right here. Where were they at? Like here. There was a whole clump of them together, and these didn't get separated like all these others. We tried to separate them.
They're kind of hard to do when they're bunched, but
we started. Okay, so last year we probably had this many, and this many turned into that many. That's propagation.
So all the potatoes that we missed got tilled in, so we've got potatoes And then we've also got lettuce. And some more lettuce. That looks like dinner tonight.
It might be, because we were talking about picking a salad. So last year we had some lettuce plants that were right in this area where the potatoes
where the
are,
chips
actually.
were.
And what happened was some of them went to seed, and that seed fell onto
And
the
thus
ground.
the wind blew.
And the wind blew, and the water washed it down here, and some of it came up, because there's some more over here.
Oofta.
So we got some more stuff growing right there. All right, let's see. What else can we talk about?
Besides our Miss Shadow.
Yeah, Miss Shadow in the shadow. All right, so pepper seeds, those are easy. You know, you get your peppers, you make sure they're fully developed, and then when you harvest them, the seeds just pop off of that little bell that's in the inside of the pepper.
We could show them the dried ones that are in the house that I haven't done anything with.
They'll see what pepper seed is. Point is, all right. So here's the thing: when you go to the grocery store, and you buy vegetables in the produce section, come on, girl, get off my arm, and you're
just sweet, dear.
Want to propagate? Go to the organic section. Go to the organic section so that you have the chance that there's probably less chemicals applied to the fruits and vegetables that you want. But you can get peppers, and your jalapeno peppers or your bell,
any
pepper you want to, pull them apart, and when you go to cook them, just save the seed.
Mm-hmm.
You go in in the fall. There's all the huge bins of squash.
Do the same thing.
You know, when you cut them open to cook them, pull the seed out and save it. You know, when you go in there and you got ginger root sitting there on the shelf there in the
grocery store,
up in the cooler section right there, buy some ginger root. Come out here and stick it in the ground.
Yep.
Everything that's in there can be brought out here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so maybe you want to jump start getting some carrot seed. When you get some carrots, if they ain't got the tops cut off, take a carrot, bring it out, and stick it in the ground. It will grow back, and then it'll leaf up, and you could take a carrot out of the grocery store right now, stick it in the ground, and let it go to seed.
As long as it's got the green tops on it.
Everything wants to grow, and if you have the majority of the plant, which is the root, or the potatoes, you get your potatoes, you stick them in your cupboard, and you didn't eat them all, and you got 3 or 4 of them that are growing. Get a 5-gallon bucket or put them out here in the dirt. Let those little eyes do their thing.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff wants to grow. Stuff wants to grow out here so bad it's not funny. The question is, are you capable of knowing and seeing all those little nuggets as to when to plant them, how to plant them, and how to carry them through to the next planting? Looks like a number 4 hive is pretty busy. Glancing over here. Let's go take a look.
Let's look.
Yeah, they're doing pretty good.
Bringing in some pollen and other goodies. I'm sure
it's gotten warm, so they're trying to fan too.
Oh, and if I remember right, dear, we have a video of all the potatoes that we had, and
that channel's taken down.
No. In your saved videos that you did.
You'll watch me.
I'm watching you. That when you first posted that video, you saved that file. You should have that file that you can re-upload and show all the potatoes that we had that had.
If I can find it.
If we can find it.
I know I've got it. It's fine.
It's a matter of finding it.
I've got over 1,000. Oh, let's put it this way. All right, so your camera saves in a MOV number whatever file. Okay, so when I started doing videos with the camera that we've got right here, it was counting those videos at MOV 001. Well, I'm now up to MOV almost 2,000.
Yeah.
So I got over 2,000 base files that I've recorded on this camera. That's a lot of,
In 6 years, yeah.
a lot
7 years.
So some of them I edited, some of them I didn't have to edit. Some of them I did nice little clips, and I was able to just take the whole thing and put it up. And sometimes I had to take multiple pieces. So it's sifting through that. But basically, what T is wanting you to see is that we had a tarp laid out with all the potatoes, and let's just put it this way: 1,200 pounds.
Yeah, that was when
We weighed 1,200 pounds.
That was in 2014.
14.
I'm thinking of the most recent one from just when we were up in north of here, just a year ago, honey.
Up in Missouri.
Yes, that one, where we had all those potatoes that we laid out on the tarp, and we had put them in the ground there.
Yeah.
That's the video I was thinking of to show
the
folks.
Ones that we did in the containers.
Yes.
All right, so those half-gallon barrels that we got is what we grew them in because we didn't have a good yard and garden to do it. We didn't have the dirt like we got here. This is beautiful, gorgeous dirt that we've got on top of the ground here. And
so I think we can find that file. It's within the last year.
Maybe, but all you got to know is you need a container. It needs to be well drained. You need some good soil in it, and you can grow them. People do it in 55-gallon drums, and they'll put them down at the bottom, and as they come up, they'll keep packing dirt around them. And at the end of the season,
they dump
it over, and there's potatoes dump out like you wouldn't believe. There's plenty of videos out there on that.
Yeah.
So this section over here is has been seeded. All the green that you're seeing out here is wheat. It's wheat grass. We took and bought a 50 pound bag of wheat at the feed store, and the idea is to get feed out here, not only for the birds but possibly for us. Is it possible that for whatever reason things shut down and I can't get wheat? Well, we have a grinder. We have a way to make it. You can use some simple old techniques for separating the wheat from the chaff. There's a whole lot of implications on that little phrase there, because that's what we're doing here. But if I needed to, I could come out here and I could by hand. It'd be a little laborious, but I could go by hand and I could pull off the wheat tops off of all of this once it went to seed, and I could probably, with what I've got out here, very easily fill a few 5-gallon buckets in the fall. Then I could have enough to make some bread with. It's not a huge amount, but it's one way I could produce it. Now I'm expecting to maybe have we might get some goats and stuff.
Goats, yeah.
But the other thing is I also scattered other seed in here.
Yeah, we've got peas scattered in here, kale, radishes, beets. I'm not sure what else she's got in here.
Carrots. Because, all right, so if I'm going to have a hog, a pig, and I want it to eat well, and there's a lot of different thoughts on the quality of meat based on what kind of animal it is. There's some people who don't like eating pigs, or some people who don't like eating beef, and what I'm telling you is it doesn't matter what you eat is going to be as good as you feed it. If I've got carrots out here and I decide, I end up with a pig, and a pig that will want to root for those tubers, I got stuff out here that pig can go out and eat, and then I don't have to be buying food.
Yeah, because the pigs that we raised were awesome meat.
Oh yeah.
I mean, because of what we fed it.
We fed it all organically. So out here, it's hard to see it now. It's still going, but there's all kinds of stuff. And we walk through, you'll see carrots, you'll see some beets, you'll see some peas that have popped up.
I have bees flying around me.
I know, they're flying around us. So there is so much information that I'm trying to share, and I'm bouncing around a bit.
Yeah.
But the idea is this: I could do a video like this every day for 2 hours a day for a whole year, and every time
Still not touch on everything.
Still not touch it all. I'm trying to get enough basic general information so that you can store it, and you can have enough to get by. If you grew up in the city in an apartment or in a subdivision, and you always went to the grocery store, and you've never been out into a farm or a garden or anything like that, some of the things I'm telling you would be enough for you to survive with. To go, okay, I heard what Erin said. All right, that's what I need to do with this. That's what I need to do with that. These are just the simple basics. There are a lot more deeper subjects. Companion planting, very huge. Succession planting, very huge. So you got to understand how long it takes for certain crops. Like we pulled a whole bunch of the radishes today. Radishes are a 30-day crop. You could get a new set of radishes all year long if you keep planting. However, radishes don't like superheat, which means when you get into July, August, September,
they'll bolt fast.
They won't put on a little radish bulb because it's so hot, and they just bolt.
Yep.
Same thing with lettuce. But you can do multiple crops through the year. We can, if you have a long enough growing season in the South here, I can plant lettuce 2 and 3 times through the year. If I'm fast enough, I can do a couple of spring crops, and then I can do a couple of fall crops, staging it one right after the other. So I always have fresh. And then, like I said, you got companion, you got succession, like beans. Beans can be successive. You can do, if you got, beans are a 60 to 70 day crop. They're producing in 2 months. So you could, for all sense and purposes, you could have 2 to 3 plantings of that. And once you get an enclosed growing system like we're going to have with the greenhouse, that can be year round. And if you're in an apartment, you can do a pot, okay, in your window with 5 or 6 beans. In 2 months, you're going to have several meals off of it. You'll get enough beans for several meals. You could do a whole bunch of seeds in a pot. It doesn't take that much, and you can cycle that over and over and over again if you're staging it. Beans are fast, simple, quick, easy vegetables to grow.
So are your lettuces and
the lettuce, and it's all like that. So
you basically can grow a salad in your windowsill
very quickly.
Very quickly.
Very quickly. So out here it's hard to see at a distance, but we definitely have all of our
we got squashes.
This is going to be a challenge because a lot of my squash seed I've saved over the last 6-7 years. What I found it in my germination this year is a lot of it's not germinating as good as I'd like it to.
Yeah, our curries aren't.
The curries that I'm missing certain varieties that I just lost. Well, we had a mouse get into our seed
bank. Newest seeds from our curry,
and ate them all.
Yep. So we're missing. It's actually called a Hokkaido squash.
Yeah,
it's a Japanese squash.
Great for soup. But then again, I've got my Hubbards, and my Hubbards are huge. They're almost as big as a pumpkin, but they're great for soup. So
yeah, I like the Hokkaido. So
we're gonna do some serious work this year to maintain some of the varieties that we've got, and be able to save seed on it. So this is your job, and depending upon the how should we say this, the conditions of the economy / civil emotion.
Depends on your area.
Whether you're in civil unrest or not. T and I have always done markets, and if you can do as much food as we're doing, the extra abundance is an income. You can provide you with a huge income. We're going to have a lot of food this year.
Yeah, because when I was up in Montana and there were folks there that I'd barter and trade with. There was a gal there that I loved the honey from her bees. We'd barter back and forth, me for a jar of honey, and she got vegetables from me because she didn't grow that kind. So you could always have that kind of system as well.
Trying to think of what else. The one thing on the apple tree and the it also goes along with the citrus trees. If you get a citrus tree, you cannot have it freeze. There's very few citrus trees that can handle freezes. It tends to they're tropical fruit. Is that if you save the seeds out of the fruit, and you can do that with the citrus too, that they need to be planted that fall. You cannot let them dry out. They need to stay wet. And let's see. There's some plants that are really good that if you can propagate them by the waste product. We talked about it with the strawberries, where you were cutting the tops off, but it had just enough seeds that it got dispersed. Carrots, you could just take the top off the carrot, plant the top of the carrot, and have a bunch of.
You could produce the carrot seed from that.
You could produce the carrot seed. A hard one that's going to be for us up here, anything, pretty much in this country, except for, a few states down around the Gulf, maybe Florida and whatnot, is pineapple.
Oh, yes.
Pineapple, you can, if you know how to very carefully, to take the top off of, you can use that top shoot to create a new plant. There's a special technique for it, is you clean off the lower leaves until you get all those little root buds, and you get it in water and you get it growing. The problem is the workers that are trained to harvest it are told to rip the top out. So you got to be very careful about buying pineapple that have intact tops to them, so that the interior leaves have not been damaged to the point where they won't grow. That's a hard thing to do. T and I have a very hard time finding ones that you can get to
especially down
grow.
here. Yeah,
but you have to go into a bigger city where they ship stuff in from special orders and places. Good organic stores will have them, but most every plant has multiple ways of regeneration. For example, oak tree, something I'm going to fight. A lot of people say, "Oh, Erin, you didn't get a bulldozer to get them in." Well, why? Because look at that. It's going to keep sending up shoots. This thing wants to keep growing, so it's going to keep doing this, and I've got to stop it by hand in order to see. There's another shoot. All right, so I don't want this to grow, but it wants to so bad. There are a lot of plants that you're going to be able to figure out how to cut stems off or branches, like I said with the grapes, the grapes and the goji berries, and you can get new plants from them. So it depends upon the kind of plant. You got your roots and your tubers, you got your seed-bearing plants, and you got plants that are very easily rooted. So you're going to have to sort through all of those. You're also going to have to sort through what's a permanent. You're going to put it somewhere, and you're never going to, worry about it. Like the yarrow, those kinds of herbs that are wild herbs. Those are things you're going to plant in places where you're not going to mess with, like the
dill and the
chamomile. Those are things that I'm setting up so that once it's there, I don't ever have to mess with it. It will sit there and reseed itself. There's a bunch of seeds that do that. Calendula is another
calendula, poppy seed.
Poppy seed does really well on reseeding itself. It's huge.
Clover is that way because you can eat clover. The red clover is good, so that reseeds itself, so you don't have to worry about that.
How far along are we?
We are almost 30 minutes into this section, honey.
Well, we've gone around with...
I think we've covered almost everything that we've got.
I mean, there's a lot.
I'm sure...
One more concept to get through you, okay, through to you, and that is planting. I want to put a picture in your head of two aspects, the planting part and the growing part. The planting part, you want to plant your seeds at the depth of the seed. So, what does that mean? Okay, so these itty bitty teeny little things, they're itty bitty smallest little seeds that are like your marjoram, your basil, these tiny, tiny little seeds.
Oh, yeah.
They don't want to be deep. You want to put them on the surface. Beets, seeds that are about this big. You want to hoe out a row and plant them just a little bit. You don't want more than about a 1/2 inch soil covering.
Mm-hmm.
Green beans are, they're that big. When you pull out a row, you want them about that, about an inch or so deep. You want them about the seed size plus a little bit deep to start planting them. Potatoes, a big old chunk of potato, you want it that deep,
Yeah.
So think the proportion and treat it such, because I see people take seeds that are really small and they bury them, or they don't put the potatoes deep enough, or whatever. That relationship from the seed size to the seed depth that you want to keep, and then the planting spacing is also based on full plant size. So if you got a plant here, how big is it gonna get? If it's gonna, you got a cabbage, it's gonna get like this, then you need this much space from center to center of plant, because they'll meld in together. But you want elbow room for each one of those plants. So, like I was explaining with the corn the other day, I had some that had some beetles get into them, and I didn't know the germination of them, how well it was going to be, so I planted them heavy. But what I'm going to do is thin them out to about 8 to 12 inches for each plant, so that I have enough room, so that when that stalk gets like this and I got leaves coming out, that I got enough room between these plants that each one can grow to its fullest, greatest extent.
Yep.
So if you can keep these basic concepts, and you can just slow down and see the picture of what you're trying to grow and create, then you know how you want to trim your bonsai, to go to that slow molding and shaping of your gardens.
Mm-hmm. And if you're not sure, there's multiple websites that tell you, and even books that tell you how deep certain plants should be, and everything. I mean, the resources are out there. You just have to use your own ingenuity and find the stuff.
Seedsavers.org has on its page, I did it in one of my videos before my old channel got taken down, showing where the proper distances are. It's a big spreadsheet. You can go to it showing where the proper distances are for spacing and for planting plants for seed saving, so you don't get cross-pollination. Like I said, I've got beets, and I've done the best I can to kind of keep them apart from each other, but it really needs to be further. With the squash, you have the technique where you can personally hand pollinate and then cover up the flowers.
That'll be her little fun job.
Yeah.
Because that's what she likes to do.
That's what I do. Is I go through and I take care of this little baby, take care of that little baby. But I think we've covered a lot.
We have. I think we've covered pretty much everything that I can think of, dear.
So, I know I can think of a lot more stuff, but then we're going down rabbit holes.
Yeah. Massive
rabbit holes. Anyway, folks, that ought to be good. So what I'm going to do is, after I get part 1 and part 2 up, I'm going to go ahead. I've found the old videos, and since my channel actually got taken down today, I don't have any issues with copyright strikes or anything.
No.
So I'm going to go ahead and re-upload my old material on a couple of seed saving videos that I did from about 4 years ago, right behind this. So you're going to go bam, 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 bam. There's going to be 4 videos. Like I said, feel free, download them, put them in your library on your backup hard drive, and that way if you ever have a question or a thought, most of it is understanding these concepts. If you understand the concepts that I've got when you approach a new situation, if I didn't necessarily cover it, that specific plant or that specific variety, you'll go, well, that's the same as this. All right, I know what to do. So
Yeah.
all right. On that note, here.
Bye.
Bye. Hit the